Hi, and welcome to A Punk with Toys. My name is Lawrence, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Marvel Legends Gamerverse War Machine vs. Omega Red. And I wasn't sure if I was going to keep this. I ordered it off Walmart for a specific reason, but I wasn't sure if I was just going to return it. But the more I looked at the Omega Red, and then I was like, hey, you know what? I don't have a War Machine. I thought, you know what? I'm going to keep it. And why not? I'm really starting to get into collecting the Marvel Legends. There's a lot that I have. So anyway, we can see a War Machine right there. We can kind of see his blast effects. We can see Omega Red. I think he looks really awesome. I think you can do a lot of things with his tentacles. On this side here, we're going to see War Machine. And then right over here, we see Omega Red. And then on the back, we can kind of see his tentacles. We see War Machine. I don't know. The Omega Red looks really awesome. Not to mention, I have a couple Wolverines, and Wolverine and Omega Red just really go good together. But also, I have the Maximum Hulk. I get the Colossus of Age of Apocalypse. So I love having the big burly figures that they can kind of fight one another. Anyway, we're gonna take a look at this, getting everything that they come with. Is it worth the price? Well, worth is all up to you if you think that this pack is going to be worth it. But I think it's time to get into this because we got two figures we got to go over to. But before we do, if you like this type of content, you're surprised now, you're maybe not surprised anymore, I do Marvel Legends, please take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop a Marvel Legends review. Alright, so we got the two figures out, and we'll start off with the War Machine. And I like to look at the accessories first. Now, if you're new to the channel, I don't play the video games. I'm not comparing this to the video game. I'm looking at these as action figures and how they are. So, anyway, we'll start off with the first things, and that is these hands. And we got these little blast effects. Oh, not blast effects, but ports for blasts. Now, these hands are just static. They plug in. They only go this way. I don't know why you would do this, but that's what they did. These hands have probably been reused over and over and over. Looking at it, you can kind of see the detail. I think it looks pretty good. Obviously, it is armor, so it has to move in a specific way. This right here, we have the exact same hand, except for this is on the right, okay? So you have your right and your left. Here we have his side cannon, his big shoulder cannon. I mentioned before, I just love shoulder cannons for some reason. The detail on it is very basic, but at least they give it a little bit of detail to kind of make it look like it's an actual gun that's firing and more like a rocket. All right, and we can see it's just going to plug right in there. It looks like it's going to have a full tilt on it. Here we have the rocket that goes into it. All right. Just a little bit of yellow paint on it. Everything else is painted or is in red. It is very pliable. It's got the little tips right there. It looks like it's meant to plug into somewhere. A matter of fact, it is. They talked about if you have another stand, like for the the Maximum Spider-Man, you can plug it into it. And I'm assuming. Okay, well, I assumed too much. I assumed that it was going to fit in there. And it doesn't. It doesn't fit in there. I assume the rocket would fit inside the rocket launcher, but it doesn't, because why would it? And then we have the big blast effect. Oh, okay, so this is a big. Oh, so basically this is a big blast effect. The rocket is separate, so we'll be interested to see where that goes. Looking at the rocket and the blast effect here, they do a nice job here of making it so it's not just like a port. It does look like the flames are kind of bursting out of it. And then you have the white smoke on the outside. So I'm assuming that plugs in there. And I'm hoping that is actually pretty heavy when it's all going to be sitting there. So hopefully that'll sit on him pretty nicely and not just sag down. All right. So here is our War Machine. Let's see if we can zoom out just a little bit. So here's War Machine. And again, he does look pretty good here. It is in this blue, like silver tint. All right. Looking here, he has his little optics here, or lights, or laser pointer, whatever it is. We can see the classic Iron Man or War Machine look. You get the helmet that just kind of goes over there with some detail. Big shoulder pauldrons on both sides. All right. There's a piece for our cannon that's going to plug into it. And then you have his reactor right there. Not too much to it. I do. It always does make me laugh when you have muscularity in Iron Man or War Machine, considering it's a suit. But then you get your big gauntlets right here. He does have his fist for punching. So this guy can't grab anything. He doesn't have any type of hands to grab, which is very disappointing. As we get down, right down to the waist here, again, painted blue. Actually, I don't think that's painted blue. I think that's actually the color. And then you just have, he has a nice cup. He should be okay if he gets hit with a baseball. And you get all the way down to the boots, which I think look pretty good. Figure seems very, very soft. I guess that's the best way to put it. He feels soft. You can see his legs literally just kind of moving back and forth, which kind of worries me, to be 100% honest. All right. On the bottom here, this is made in China, so these have not been moved over to the Vietnamese plant. But again, boots all look pretty good. As for his articulation, his head cannot look up. He can only look up that far, which is disappointing considering he's going to be flying. Well, maybe not. This version isn't really going to be flying that much. He can look down that much and side to side. Gives a T-pose. These pauldrons kind of move out of the way. So there's his T-pose, which isn't bad. He just swivel at the bicep. Double pinless elbows. But I kind of got to bring it down. It only bends that much. So even double pinless, these gauntlets definitely get in the way. So I don't even know how much you can actually move it there. All right. Wrists are going to swivel. Man, this figure is, all this plaque is super, super soft. Ab crunch, he can go down that far, and then he can go back that far. He can twist side to side, and they have this ugly break right here. Marvel Legends. That's one thing you really need to address. His Jean-Claude Van Damme, which is right there. There your thigh swivel. Pinned double knee joints. I don't have a problem with pins. It's time that you can start getting rid of them, but I do understand that you have old designs. Man, this, I'm telling you, man, like this figure feels awful. And I'd say that with all due respect, but I really mean no respect. I mean, that leg, literally, look at it. It's just, it is awful. All right. But that's his articulation. Can we pop the gun on here? So there's the gun. It does move back. So it can go all the way in the up position right there. It can move forward. It can go down a little. And it moves all the way around. Pretty much 360 degrees. Obviously, if it gets in the way of his head there. And plug this in here. And I would say it stays in place for the most part. All right. I'll tell you what, these legs are awful. Everything that is black, for the most part, is a really, really soft plastic, which isn't really good when it comes to legs like that. Because he's just going to start to sag, which is disappointing. As for the rocket, what do I do with the rocket? I don't have anywhere to put it. All right. You can pop the hands off. No problem here. There's his blast. Now, again, this is one of those things where if you have any Iron Man, you probably have different versions of blast effects. They should just give them to you. They've made so many. They should just give every Iron Man and War Machine with it. Now, again, that would be actually pretty cool if I could make him blasting. But I can't, so he's holding a fist. There's our War Machine. He looks decent, but I gotta say, just in general, feeling the soft plastic, it feels awful. I hope Omega Red is better than this. So, push Omega Red over here and grab these figures. Grab the accessories, and we'll go through there. So first off, we got two hands. All right, and the hands are very pliable, and I'm fine with that. We got the Omega right there. He's got the guard on top of his hand. You can see the fingers, which look pretty good. And you're going to get a fist. So the other hand is open like that. Normally they don't do that. Normally they give you 2 fists. But the Omega symbol right there. All right, and then you have your little punchy. And these do move. At least these ones do. So these. All right. Then we got some tentacles. So we have these long tentacles, which I think are actually pretty cool. They look nice on them. All right, just kind of wrapping that around. You can see the detail. They're not on a wire, which is too bad. That would have been pretty cool. But they do make it so I can wrap it around Maximum Hulk over here, or Wolverine, which is, I mean, I think of his, one of his main villains is Wolverine there. And then you look at this one, same thing. At least they made them look different, so you don't have to have the exact same one. And then we have 2 shorter ones. All right, this one kind of looks more like a question. It is pliable. And then we have this one. All right. Now we get to our figure right here. And God, I hope he's not as soft. Let me see here. Like, yeah, like Wolverine is not like super soft like that. That's for sure. I'm trying to look at. Here's Dr. Mindbender, G.I. Joe. Not soft at all. Everything feels really nice on him. So I don't really know what. Like, that is super soft. And then Omega Red. I mean, same thing. Like, the white seems very soft. Not how I would expect it to be. But if it holds up, then that's fine. As long as it holds up and it feels good and it lasts, and I can pose them and stand them, then I'm happy. So, quickly we'll take a look at Omega Red, and he does have an awesome looking face there. All right, you have the red eyes. You get the Omega symbol on his Miyagi-Do bandana right there. You can see the metal that's coming out of his mouth, and you see the teeth right there. You got the nice yellow hair and a nice ponytail, because you know this guy's actually going to be doing his hair nice. But I think it looks really good. The ponytail does move around, so you can kind of push it down. If they're in a fighting position, have it up. You got these big old pauldrons here. All right. It's, from what I can tell, I'd say they're, it's probably silver and then red paint. I'm guessing right there. And then it looks like, well, I don't know what these are. If they're tentacles or whatever the hell they are. But it has what looks like 2 little rockets that would go into a 203. Chest looks really good. I mean, this guy is ripped. He's definitely been training chest and abs. Going down his biceps here. You can see how nice it looks. Then he has the pauldron. Not the pauldron. Sorry, the gauntlet. Gauntlet style right here. And then once again, the little Omega symbol. As for the legs, the same thing. Just wearing some tights. But you can see those legs that are kind of ripped up. You have the dog-eared knee pads. And then you have the pinned ankle, or the pinned knees, which I know a lot of people are really, really, really aggravated by. And of course, this one is also going to be made in China. As for his articulation, he can look up about that far, and he can look down that far and side to side. Again, ponytail can kind of flip around. It looks like it kind of moves up and down just slightly. All right, as for his T-pose, this is really going to get in the way. It doesn't move all that much, but he does have a pretty good T-pose right there. Bicep swivel, pinless double elbows. Here's the piece. Here's the port where you're going to put the tentacles. He does have butterfly joints, it looks like. But you're going to have to move this up into the proper position. I can't see it. Kind of weird. So it does have butterfly joints. He can kind of reach over like that. So the butterfly joints aren't awful, but he does have all this overlay, which is going to make it very difficult for him to kind of cross over. All right. He does have the... Does he have an ab crunch? Yeah, he has an ab crunch. So he can go down that far. He can go back. He can turn side to side. Again, looks very ugly for pictures. Jean-Claude Van Damme, that's as far as he's going to get. There's your thigh cut, double pinned knees. He does get a pretty good bend right there. And then you're going to have your ankle rockers. And he has very large feet, so you really shouldn't have any problem standing him without stands. As for his hands, they come out pretty nice and easily, as they are fairly soft. And they do actuate up and down. Now, we have these big tentacles, and they should plug in right there. And now the question is, how well do they actually hold? That kind of scares me, to be honest. Only because there's only a small part that kind of plugs into them. But I guess if they're not that heavy, they shouldn't cause too much of a problem. So there's Omega Red. No problem. And I think you'll be able to pose this figure in some pretty good ways. All right. It kind of looks like he's... I can't really twist it too much. But there he is, just kind of letting his tentacles go. See how that one just fell out? I don't know, man. These figures look really awesome, but... Am I not pushing that in? Oh, you know what? They go in a little bit further. So they do go in further. Alright. So you're not going to have to worry about them falling out. They go in almost all the way there. So there's a good gap right there. So as you can see, there he is holding that. Can we get him kind of charging at his opponent on 1 foot? No problem. I told you these guys have some pretty big feet, so not going to have a problem there. Now, quickly, how tall are these figures? Well, you can kind of make some adjustments right here to the camera. And if I take Omega Red, there you can see how big he is compared to War Machine. So he is much taller. I can take this Dr. Mindbender, take off his hat there, his helmet, and he's roughly the exact same size as War Machine. So you can imagine just how big he stands next to him, which again, I have no problem with. I think it looks pretty damn good. As for the Maximum Hulk, good size compared to him. Again, I like these larger figures. It's so much fun to kind of mess around with them. But then, how does he compare to the ultimate little runt? If we get him standing straight up, maybe. And then we take our Omega Red, and we can see there is a huge size difference. And again, when someone wonders why people have a huge problem, good Lord, if his ankles are weak and he just falls over, it's going to be highly aggravating. So if you ever wonder why people have a problem with Hugh Jackman being Wolverine, Hugh Jackman's like 6'1", 6'2". He's a large man. Wolverine's supposed to be really short. Anyway, that's Omega Red. As for our War Machine, can I get him on 1 foot? Man, he just... Dude, these legs suck. I'm just going to say it. There. Take that off. So I can set him on 1 foot. I don't think he's going to stay that way, because this plastic is so soft. I mean, it is... I mean, I can literally just... You see how it bends. Very disappointing. Extremely disappointing, I guess is the best way to put it. So anyway, I like the Omega Red. I think he looks awesome. There's seriously 1, 2, 3, 4 paint apps on him. That's it. But he fits the bill of what he's supposed to be. How this guy only has 2 paint apps. He has his blue and he has his like charcoal gray. Maybe it's black. But yeah, they don't. Not a lot of paint apps on these. But if they're video game accurate and that's what people want, I think it's gonna make a lot of people happy. Let's wrap this up. All right, so there you go. That is the Omega Red and War Machine Gamerverse versus pack. And yeah, these legs suck. The thigh is no problem. It seems to be a harder plastic, but the plastic down here, especially on the knee joint, it's awful. I can't put it any other way. It's awful. Even these ones seem kind of weak. So that's something that really needs to be tightened up, especially when you have a larger figure. I feel like his ankles seem like they're going to be kind of weak. The figures themselves look pretty good. And again, if you're wondering, hey, you don't know what you're talking about, I'm reviewing the action figures, not how they fit in Marvel Legends, or shall I say the comic book, or the cartoon, or even the video game, which is what they're meant to be. I just like the Omega Red. I wanted him so he can fight Maximum Hulk, Wolverine, Colossus, Gambit, all kinds of people. And then I said, hey, you know what? War Machine's there. I guess I got to take one with the other. Anyway, there we are. That's your review of the Gamerverse War Machine versus Omega Red. But I'm going to get out of here. Thank you for staying this long. Please, if you haven't yet, take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop a Marvel Legends review. Now, I know what you're saying. Have you really done that much Marvel Legends? Well, I have, and up here will be another review of the Marvel Legends, and down here will be a playlist of all the Marvel Legends that I reviewed. Take care.